If you're watching this, it's too late because the NBA trade deadline has gone and passed. Welcome into the Hangout, Canada's home for talking hoops for the hardcore basketball fan. I am Akil Augustine, and on this trade deadline, we have somewhat of an all-star team assembled in the original home of the Hangout. I know you're wondering, where are we right now? We went back. Of course, lots happening today, and we had to spend the day researching and digging into the info, so we figured what better place to do it than our old home. Welcome to the old set. That right there is Randy Urban. You know him and love him. He's also a new member of the Open
You just
Gym
know
team.
me. You don't love me.
No, that's also
honest.
true. Let's be honest here. The biggest Kobe hater in the 416.
You know what? Enough with your foolishness, man.
Fix your posture.
Ghana
All right,
Power.
okay, we're not even going to introduce
Ghana
Tricks.
Power, bro.
We're not even going to introduce Tricks anymore.
You just did.
And then Wheels Up Wheeler, one of my favorite people in the world. Always good.
I was one of the few that didn't get traded today.
One of
the few.
Okay, first off, let's just step back. Have you ever seen a more active trade deadline than this one?
I think someone forgot to call the NHL and say, this is how you do it, because bump it up, not March 2nd, move it to February 19th, because a lot of players got traded. Some names of significance we're going to go over in depth, but just the sheer number of moves for a league where they only have a 15-man roster, only 2 rounds of draft picks to traded, the sheer number just blew everyone away, and it was completely unexpected.
And in the last half hour, too.
Yeah.
While I was on the way in a cab.
What a
Same
day.
with you.
It's true.
Don't worry, we'll get the Tricks later. Let's get into it first off. I mean, as Canadian basketball fans, a familiar name for us went up and got traded. But let's talk about some of the big deals. The big trade. Brandon Knight goes to the Phoenix Suns. They love guards over there. Michael Carter-Williams and Tyler Ennis go to the Milwaukee Bucks. And then Isaiah Thomas gets traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. But then they ship him out to Boston, where he joins Marcus Smart and the likes. First off, Randy, I'll start with you. Which of these deals pops out to you more? Tyler Ennis, Canadian.
Well, first of all, Milwaukee getting rid of Brandon Knight surprised me because they're a surprise team in the East. I thought Jason Kidd's done a great work with Brandon Knight and bringing him along and becoming a complete player. After Brandon Knight's first year, there's talk that he wasn't good enough to be an NBA point guard. He struggled in his second year, and he's having a great, close to all-star season. So to see him go, that surprised me.
23 years old as well. That's
Right.
what's surprising, because I think Milwaukee is playing with house money to a certain degree.
Yep.
They're still building for the future. It's not for the now, even though they're in a playoff spot at present time. But this just speaks volumes to me that the head coach, Jason Kidd, didn't like what he saw in a Brandon Knight, and they want to go in a different direction, Michael Carter-Williams or Tyler Ennis, and maybe they are a better fit for what they're trying to do in Milwaukee.
One of the concerns for Milwaukee, too, was Michael Carter-Williams, RFA, restricted free agent. He was going to expect some money, of course, this offseason. The 2 guards they did bring in are both on the front end of their rookie contracts. Tricks, is something bothering you? You okay over there with your arm?
Face.
This is why we bring you here. Okay. We talked about Brandon Jennings and what Milwaukee's doing. Tyler Ennis now gets
Opportunity.
Brandon
He's buried under 3 point guards in Phoenix to start his career. This is a difficult spot for the young Canadian Ennis. Now he's going to get a chance, because the one thing about Michael Carter-Williams in Philadelphia, could never stay healthy.
And he can't shoot.
And he can't shoot. One of the worst shooting percentages in the NBA from the guard position.
He plays a lot of minutes. He's going to be, especially if they make a playoff push, they're going with Carter-Williams. He's getting
athletic.
38 minutes a
He fits
game.
the mold of that defensive player. Like, they got an extremely athletic team in Milwaukee. So perhaps that's what Jason Kidd's looking at in the team that he wants to make.
Okay, we touched on everything that Phoenix has done. Tricks, you want to chime in at some point?
Sure. You let me talk?
Hey, you can jump in. This is the Hangout.
I'm not mad at the Brandon Knight trade.
No?
I kind of saw it coming a little bit.
Why?
Just because some little inconsistencies he had as Milwaukee. I know
He was Shaqtin' the Fool player of the year.
so many times. Like, I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand it, but I get it.
Sure. 38 and 23.
I get it.
I get it as well. I just think it
30
speaks
points.
volumes as to what Jason Kidd thinks about him. I think it's a good fit in Phoenix. I mean, they've just spun the wheel of point guards, and they wound up, and they still have Bledsoe there. You add Knight to the equation, and they still have a great point guard tandem. It works.
I think Michael Carter-Williams shines in this situation. I think that happens.
Well, anytime you get partnered up with Jason Kidd, the best point guard possibly to ever
Exactly.
play, or one of the best to play the game, it's only going to help your career.
Sure.
Okay,
Shoot.
now you just opened up a can of worms. You talk about the fact that the Phoenix Suns are just spinning the wheel of point guards and taking anybody that fell off that tree. Both Goran and Zoran Dragic are out. They're heading to Miami, okay? I'm going to get you guys' take on the Miami situation afterwards. Of course, Danny Granger going in return for them, plus Norris Cole. and Sean Williams.
Who's Danny Granger?
There's a name we haven't heard in a while.
Poor guy.
But I want to focus
Poor
on
guy.
Phoenix and what their front office has been doing. did they squander an opportunity? They had Eric Bledsoe and Goran Dragic in the backcourt. They went in the offseason inside Isaiah Thomas. And that caused Dragic to say, why am I here? You guys got me spotting up in the corner. So, Randy, were you surprised? No, let's go to Tricks. Let's appease Tricks now. Were you surprised with the way Phoenix held that backcourt together?
I want to know what really went down. Because just little things he said in his interview where he's like, I don't trust them.
But would you trust them?
I like to know. I think there's more to that story personally. And that's not me digging. I would just like to know how you have. I'm not going to say he was an elite point guard, but he was decent for that situation.
20 and 6
and
last
then you
year.
just like fade him to black, and I don't understand why you did that.
But they kind of wanted him, though, in a way, no? Because they wanted to keep him, but their vision involved 19 point guards.
Well, it's also because he's a free agent after this season.
Yes.
So if you have an unhappy point guard, you try to recoup what you can and bring it in Knight. For me, that's a good deal. And they brought in a bunch of first-round picks. This is the Phoenix Suns doing their thing. It's more than about one player. Like Goran Dragic is no Kevin Durant or a franchise player. Let's not mistake that. He's a serviceable piece. So if they want to add more speed in Thomas and Bledsoe and have them as the backcourt, I get it. Now they move on from Thomas, bring in Knight. So I think they're still trying to find their mix, find the delicate balance in Phoenix.
But what Trix is saying is interesting because he is a quiet-natured guy, or at least he comes across as that. And for him to talk out like that and say, I don't want to be here anymore, I don't trust this team. And
they already got his brother.
Right. Right. They helped him out by taking his brother. His brother hasn't played much this year.
I didn't even know he had a brother.
But you said just a serviceable piece. I think he is a big part of what Miami's going to be doing in the next little while and in this playoff.
Better fit Miami than Phoenix.
For
That's
sure.
the thing.
For sure.
How scary is the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference when you have Luol Deng and the rest of those guys, Whiteside, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and now Goran and Goran?
They're not going to be the 8th seed. They're going to be. They could be 5. They're a better team than Washington now with Dragic, I think.
There might be too big of a gap. Right now, between 7th in the East and 12th in the East, there's only 2 games separating all those teams. But the Miami Heat stepped up, made that move, addressed a hole. I know Trix loves his Norris Cole, but they made a massive upgrade.
I'm not saying I loved him. And you know what? And Bakil was right, though. I got caught up in the whole Norris playoff, LeBron making people look great. But, he wasn't that great. That's why I should ask him.
Okay, listen, we got to go to break because there's lots to break down. But, Randy, I'm with you. I kind of liked where you were going there on your point, but we're going to debate that a little bit later.
All right.
We got more to break down here on Canada's home for Talking Hoops. We got to talk about KG, the greatest Wolf of all time. He's back in Minnesota. Will he help out Wiggins in the gang? We will break that down, and we will roast Randy Urban plus more when we return on The Hangout.